Hello, this is Adeptus Nubis, and today I bring you news about the new patch iteration 2.6. As usual, you can get it on www.dawnofwar.info. And first off, I have to say big thanks to the developer team, big thanks to Keltos and Torpid and Atlas and Wisewindow and all the people who are involved in making this. But let's dive right into the changes. I'm going to start with the general changes, the bug fixes, the maps, like just general stuff, and then I'm going to go through each faction video by video and see what's new for them. So right off, obviously, as has been with all the recent patches, the main menu has been upgraded. The Wraith Lord is removed in favor of the Necron Lord now. I say upgraded because after a while you get kind of annoyed with seeing the Wraith Lord every time. The Necron Lord looks really cool, so well done on that part. You have new Iron Warriors and Thousand Suns portraits by Kilgarn. Kilgarn has done a lot of portraits in the past as well, so job well done there as well. I've seen them and they look really awesome. Apparently some graphical effects for the Last Stand have been implemented as well to make the Necron Lord look even cooler, and yes, that's an affirmative. You can play Last Stand while playing the Elite mod, so you don't have to switch back to retail. The Might of Titan ability from the Librarian of the Automalius chapter, or Automalius faction, also has some new effects, and apparently the Apothecary's Purification Rites now has some effects that scale with the level as well, and the Tyrant Guard's abilities UI positions have been swapped. I think that was just some luxury, those were just some luxury changes. Let's go to the bug fixes. Apparently there has been a bug with the in-combat health regen for the heretics that seems to have been fixed. There's no more skepticism about that, so I'm taking that as a given. Dark Flames used to one-shot whole generator farms, so the damage type has been changed to Ability Flame, which does less damage to generators but still kills structures like turrets and beacons and multi-last turrets all the same, and obviously still does the same damage to units. We will see though that Dark Flames have been changed somewhat as well, but we'll get to that when I get to the Chaos Space Marines video. The Warp Global no longer works on downed heroes. In the past, the Chaos Sorcerer could always warp dead heroes to himself to revive him, which was a very cheesy tactic, if you ask me, so that has been fixed. Downed heroes can no longer be warped to the Sorcerer's current position. Next very cheesy tactic was that Touch of Nurgle dealt 3 times the intended damage when used on heretics. That has most definitely been fixed. It was a very much needed fix, and yeah, job well done there as well. Another thing, a very curious thing, Touch of Nurgle used to revive heroes. If you didn't know, then don't bother, it's not working anymore. You cannot revive heroes with Touch of Nurgle. A long existing bug has been that Nob squads, even if under the effect of Frenzy, were still suppressed by Nurgle shrines. That has been fixed as well. Let's see. The Plague Sword one-shotting units affected by Nurgle's Rod. I have experienced that myself, as I have used the Plague Sword. I have seen entire squads just being instantly killed by the Plague Sword and turned into zombies. Apparently the developers have thought of something that should fix this or prevent this. We shall see in the upcoming games and 2.6 if that is so. So the status is still unconfirmed. Fire dragons should no longer miss loaded transports. That has been a very, very unfortunate bug for a lot of AV units, that they cannot kill or even damage transports which have units loaded inside. Apparently this has been addressed by means of changing something with the scatter mechanics of their weaponry. So hopefully fire dragons will now be able to damage transports with units loaded inside them. The Die Avenger Warlock will remove the detector decorator if the grenade upgrade has been purchased. The death of the Die Avenger Warlock, I'm sorry. That has been, yeah, I've experienced that myself. I think I was the one who reported this bug. Yeah, you still had the detector decorator, even though the Warlock was dead. So if you trusted in your Die Avengers to actually detect any infiltrated unit or infiltrated IEDs, then you were out of luck because the Warlock was dead and yeah, your squad couldn't detect any longer. The Holy Pyre's effect radius changed to more accurately match the visual effects. That is actually a very nice thing, because the effect radius was actually deceptively larger than the visual effects, so that's a nice thing. So you can actually stay out of the effect radius now by just looking at how large the visual effects radius is. Same goes for the detection radius, it's also matching the visual effects radius now. The Commissar's executability ignores line of sight. That is actually another attempt at a fix for the execution bug. Sometimes if the Commissar loses line of sight, or for some various other reasons, the execution will fail, but the energy will still be lost, which is very unfortunate because the Commissar very much relies on his energy to be used very thoughtfully. So if you try to execute and it fails and you still lose the energy, that's a big blast. Same goes for the Catechin's Devil's Shotgun Blast. I think the reasoning behind it only being able to be used by Dialast leaders is that it will most definitely be carried out, the Shotgun Blast, and you won't see the Shotgun Blast not being used but energy lost bug anymore. That's also a very, very important thing, because now Catechin Devils are actually way, way more reliable in that area. The Brother Captain's Demolishing Strike can now damage Spore Mines. Well, I didn't even know about that one. So that's also a nice thing to have, since Spore Mines are very annoying. All non-leader IST models can now use the Frag Grenade ability. I'm guessing that is now the same mechanic as for Die Avengers, which also operate like that. Something that was very curious is the next bug fix. Slugger Knobs can now build war banners. This might sound like a no-brainer, but Slugger Knobs are die last. Well, actually they're not die last, but if they were the last model in the squad, the Slugger squad would not build war banners, which is absurd, because Sluggers are, well, the unit that can build war banners. The Apothecary Heal Aura seems to have been lost at times after exiting a webway, which is heresy in and of itself, but still, it's a bug that existed, and that has been addressed as well. Scouts and Rangers should no longer be heard by all players when going into stealth. That means no more see but do not be seen across the entire field once your scouts enter infiltration mode. So that's a big thing to look out for, because grenades coming out of infiltration are now much more dangerous, because there are no more audio cues warning you about scouts in the vicinity that are infiltrated. Another very, very big change or bug fix, I'm not sure if this should be counted as a bug fix, that's just my opinion though. The Zoanthrope's Focus Warp Blast can now target Imperial Guard Sentinels, and if you keep in mind that I think a zone throw deals 1/3 of the Sentinel's health in damage. Something like that. Like, don't pin me down on the numbers now. But that's something to keep an eye out for, because zone throws have always been very good versus IG, since they do a lot of AoE damage and are the artillery unit for Tyranids. But now you can actually focus the Sentinel, which is a lot of upfront damage for the Sentinel to deal with. Well, those are the bug fixes. The community has not been lazy as well, and new maps have been implemented or sent in for implementation. We have 2 new maps, or rather 1 new map by Ztork and 1 updated map. The new map is Katrin Purification Plant. I will maybe make a showcase video of all the new maps. I'll have to see about that. And then we have Angry Bird making a comeback as a map creator. Made a new map called Argus Siege, which has a 2-player, 1v1, a 2v2, and a 3v3 version. And then we have new maps by Swift Saber, called Archaea Vista. It's a 3v3 map. I think I've played on that one before, or was one of the playtesters. I do not remember exactly whether that's the one. Then another 1v1 map. It's always nice to see 1v1 maps, by the way, because the pool of 1v1 maps that are actually being used also during the MRTs is quite dull, because the same map keep on popping up over and over again. So new 1v1 maps are always nice. Then we have another 3v3 map by Swift Saber, or 2 more I'm sorry, 3v3 maps called Angstrom Heights and Quest's Redemption. Same as before, I might make a showcase video about that. And then we have an update to the Luganath Glacier. Hopefully, I have not checked it out so far, but hopefully the brightness has been turned down, because it used to be very, very bright and thus unfavored by a lot of people playing 1v1. And same goes for Leviathan Eye, a map made by Blessed Spartan. For those people who do not know, Blessed Spartan is like a relic in this community. Has been with us for a long time, has been away for a long time as well, but seems to have made a comeback recently. Also has a stream. Should check that out. I don't have the link right now, but I'll put the link in the description of this video. And then we have a deleted map. I think that was Swift Saber's 2v2 map, Mindthera Outpost. It just had a lot of layout issues. The textures and whatnot look very, very nice. So there was a lot of nice things about the map, but there were just some very, very awkward things about the map as well. If you have played Mindthera Outpost, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's go to the gameplay changes, and there are actually quite a few gameplay changes. I'm gonna scroll up, so I'm not gonna spoil the Chaos Marine changes. The biggest change, in my opinion, in 2.6 is the implementation of the Hold Fire ability. What does that mean? The Hold Fire, actually it's written right down, right beneath it. Hold Fire is a toggled ability that prevents the unit from firing at any target not selected by the player. The effect remains active even after a target is chosen, and the unit is still unable to freely fire at in-range enemies. What does that mean? That means that you can now rest assured that your tank will only attack the unit or tank that you have clicked on. No more super weird retargeting of the main battle cannon whilst chasing down a tank or whatnot. And also, if you want to go for infiltration play, or maybe not go for infiltration play but not want to reveal your AV setup team, you just keep it in the back, and it's not going to auto fire on approaching infantry units. So the enemy might not even know that you have an AV setup team move in its vehicle, and that's when you release the Hold Fire, or you give the order to fire, or you even just click and it will just fire at that very vehicle, and that it's such a good ability. I've tested it somewhat, and it's really awesome. Once you grow accustomed to it, it's such a huge benefit to the gameplay. It hasn't been given to all units. Maybe we will see that in the future. Already people are calling for it to be implemented by all for all units. I do not see the reasoning behind this. Maybe we will see it, but so far all setup teams, all vehicles now have the hold fire ability. Sniper heavy infantry damage type now ignores light and heavy cover courage damage modifiers. Since sniper heavy infantry already ignores cover, it's only logical to also make it ignore courage damage modifiers granted by light and heavy cover. So grenade PvP damage to vehicles lowered from 50% to 33%. That's also a huge change, or maybe it's not that huge. I would have liked to for it to be dialed down again to what it was before Kael'thas actually upped it to 50%. Because in my opinion, and this is now just an opinion, so keep that in mind while listening to this, I'm thinking that grenades coming out of infiltration should not be able to threaten a vehicle, especially when they land on rear armor, which can happen surprisingly quick, even if they did not specifically target rear armor. Somehow this game makes some hits rear armor that are supposed to be rear armor, and yeah, that's just my opinion. But it's getting dialed down because it has led to some very awkward gameplay scenarios where you can just go for double infiltrated scouts and outright kill a fire prism with double scout grenades on rear armor. It's very awkward. Then we have some more rotation rate changes. Rotation rate changes, for people who do not know, are, well, actually it's quite self-explanatory. A unit has a rotation rate at which it will rotate its direction, and that can be manually set. So the Chaos Lord rotation rate has been increased. Same goes for Plague Marine. The Plague Marine's rotation rate has been decreased by quite a significant amount. What does that mean? That means that Plague Marines do not react as fast as they have to directional changes, which now means that they can be kited quite effectively. Same goes for Chosen Plague Marines, which whose rotation rate has been decreased by half. The Brother Captain's rotation rate has been increased, so it's going to be a lot more difficult to now kite him. I forgot to say that about the Chaos Lord as well. His rotation rate has been increased to 250. Purgation rotation speed has been increased to 400 from 160. That also means that Purgation will turn a lot faster. Why is that not a broken change? That is because Purgation now lost their Psy Cannons in favor of Silencers. So they won't function as autocannons or like as anti-all setup teams any longer. So I'm guessing it's justified. And the Grey Knight Terminator, Grey Knight Paladin rotation rate has also been increased, so they will also not be as easy to kite as before. Yeah, well, that concludes the general changes that we've seen so far, and I will continue with the Chaos Space Marines in the next video, so see you there.